The Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council welcome you to the Avondale City Council meeting. As a courtesy to others, please silence all phones. Anyone wishing to address the Council regarding items listed on the agenda or under unscheduled public appearance should complete the Request to Speak form online at www.avondaleaz.gov/request-to-speak or complete a blue card that is located at the back of the council chamber and hand it to the city clerk prior to consideration of that agenda item. When your name is called, please approach the podium and give your name for the public record. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. If more than 5 requests to speak are received, comments may be limited to 1 minute. A countdown clock will be easily visible on the speaker's podium. If your comments concern an item not listed on the agenda, Arizona open meeting law restricts mayor and council actions. If your comments concern an item that is not listed on the agenda, Mayor and Council may respond to criticism, request that staff review the matter, or request that the matter be scheduled on a future agenda. Thank you for your interest in the Avondale City Council meeting.
Okay, we're going to wait for about 2 minutes to start the meeting. We have one council member who is not here tonight. We're trying to get her online. So we'll give about 2 minutes, and if not, we'll get going. In the meantime, is there anybody that has a good joke for all of us? No? Okay. I tried. Okay. Uh-oh, hold on.
Do you know where they hold all bad jokes?
Where's that, Curtis?
In databases.
Anybody else? Well, we see the mean team out there in green. All right, that's that. Uh-oh. Okay, I like that. And I will tell you that I did mean to wear my shirt and hustled over here and forgot. So I apologize. But you know, some of us don't look good in green anyway. So
I think this is my color.
although Councilmember Solorio says this is her color, so you know, some of us can wear it, some of us can't. Nonetheless. Any luck, Julie? Hate to put you on the spot. Everybody's looking at Julie now. Nice. So if those of you who are not on your phones right now, it is now 1-1, USA, Belgium. Uh-oh, hold on.
It's in celebration of Parks and Rec, outdoors.
Oh, 1-1. Come on, USA.
Councilmember Condi, can you hear me? Councilmember Condi, can you hear me? Councilmember Condi, can you hear me?
Hello?
Oh,
Thank you, Councilmember Condi. We'll get started now.
okay. I would officially like to call to order the Avondale City Council City Council regular meeting for July 6th. Today, we are pleasantly joined by one of our summer AVITEMP students, Hannah, who is over there. Thank you so much, Hannah, for being here tonight. She is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you wouldn't mind standing for the pledge, Hannah, please, if you wouldn't mind, kick it off for us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Hannah, could you please do roll call?
Of course. Councilmember Conde,
Here?
Councilmember Garcia,
Here.
Councilmember Solorio. Here. Councilmember Wise. Here. Councilmember White,
Present.
Vice Mayor Nielsen,
Here.
and Mayor Pineda.
Here. Thank you so much. Ron, next item, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Up next is our employee presentations, and I am fortunate enough to be able to do the first set of announcements. The first, before I turn it over to Anissa, I think Anissa's around here somewhere. You're ready, right? All right. Before her, I'm going to go ahead and go first and make some introductions. The first, if she will come down, and Andy might as well join her, if I can have them come down. The first is I'm pleased to join me in asking Council and Mayor to join me in welcoming Assistant City Manager Jennifer Stein. Jennifer is one of our new Assistant City Managers. She brings more than 20 years of experience in communications, economic development, and executive leadership. Her vision, creativity, and commitment to Avondale has helped drive many of the city's most significant accomplishments. I'm so excited she joined us just a few years ago as our Economic Development Director and recently now as our Assistant City Manager. Our newest Assistant City Manager is Andy Mesquita. He brings more than 2 decades of human resources leadership in public sector. His extensive experience developing people, building strong organizations, fostering positive workplace cultures makes him an invaluable member of our leadership team. So I'll just take a minute to welcome these 2 new Assistant City Managers. Now, I know, Mayor, usually you like to converse with everybody who's up here tonight, but we have 2 pages full of new employees. So I will go ahead and have them sit down and save them from having to answer the 20 questions. But I believe both of them have done the 20 questions and is online if you're curious whether they prefer tea or coffee. I also have 2 other great announcements. I'm probably even more excited about these. This next one, I know has worked for the city for over 13 years, has been working hard, has been studying, has been seeking mentorship to get ready for this position. And I'm excited to make this announcement. So please help me introduce our newest Economic Development Director, Cheryl Covert. Cheryl has dedicated more than 13 years of service to Avondale and has been instrumental in attracting investments, creating jobs, helping shape the future of our community through transformative economic development projects, including our healthcare corridor and many others. But Cheryl, maybe the council or you want to say something to them.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to carry on Jen's legacy here at the city.
And I have the best of the best before me, so I've got very big shoes to fill. But Jen always says they're not shoes to fill, they're your shoes now. So I'm just excited to continue to bring your vision, council and mayor, to life, and all the great work that I get to do, but with the colleagues that all stand behind me, because this is certainly a team effort. So thank you so much for this. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, sir. All right, and the last one I have tonight, I'm also very excited about. Been with the city for several years, has been in the interim role twice, but I'd like to introduce your new Human Resources Director, Ted Flores. Ted has been a valuable member of our Avondale team for more than 5 years and now leads our Human Resources Department. His dedication to supporting our employees and strengthening our workforce helps ensure our organization continues to drive. Please welcome Ted.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, just so excited for this opportunity to keep things going from what we've built on and continue to grow and build on in the future. And similar to Cheryl, yeah, big shoes to fill, you know, I don't have to lower this time, and all that stuff. So no, just super grateful for the opportunity and look forward to it and continuing our partnership. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and that's all I get to do tonight. I will introduce Anissa Romo, your senior management analyst, who has one more city manager announcement.
Hello, Mayor and council members. It's my pleasure to introduce Ariel Liao. She's our newest management analyst in the city manager's office and city council office. Ariel was previously a management analyst with the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office and holds a master's of public administration from Grand Canyon University and a bachelor's of arts in political science and French from the University of Arizona. She is an Arizona native, originally from Yuma, and is now a West Valley resident. So we're super excited to have her as part of our team. Welcome, Ariel.
Up next, we have Finance and Budget Department, Renee Weatherless, your Finance and Budget Director.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. I have the pleasure of introducing our 3 newest hires in the Finance and Budget Department. The first is Tori Osmondson, who is the city's grants coordinator. She's been with the city for about 3 months now. Tori came to us from the Governor's Office of Youth, Faith, and Family. She has a bachelor's degree in healthcare coordination from ASU and a master's degree in public health from the University of Arizona. Secondly, I would like to introduce to you Yolanda Varon. Yolanda has been with the city also for about 3 months and is our new accountant involved in financial reporting and managing the city's purchasing card program. Yolanda has 11 years of accounting experience and has a bachelor's degree in accounting from ASU and is also a competitive pickleball player.
Oh, look who.
And finally, I would like to introduce to you Fina Johnson. Fina is our new assistant director with over 25 years of financial leadership experience. She comes to us from the Tucson Unified School District, where she served as the finance director, and has also 20 years of financial experience in the private sector from the newspaper industry. So I would like to welcome all of our employees. Thank you.
Welcome.
Mayor and Council, up next is our Fire and Medical Department with a presentation by Larry Rooney, your Fire Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. I have the privilege of introducing our 2 newest, finest, handsome firefighters that practice good hygiene. First of all, I'd like to introduce firefighter Andres Magna. He was raised here in the city of Avondale, so let's hear it for him. We love it when we hire one of our own, right?
Yep.
Andreas previously was employed as a CDL driver for Hazmat and Tankers. And is that the name of the company, Hazmat and Tankers?
No, it's the endorsements. So I was able to drive.
Oh, you had those endorsements. Okay. All right. So he's endorsed. before pursuing his fire service career. He enjoys hiking and has hiked many different trails across the state, including the Grand Canyon and many other trails around the valley. Andreas is currently assigned to Fire Station 174 on C shift. So let's hear it for Andreas. Next, I'd also like to introduce firefighter Bishop Burdine. He was raised in the city of Buckeye and spent a lot of time in his childhood in Avondale playing basketball for youth leagues, spending time with his family at Bolero and the roller rink. Firefighter Burdine was previously employed as a teacher and worked as an EMT in Sun City. He plays basketball. Chief Memo, we're going to play basketball. Let's see, he plays basketball for 15 years and attended Australia Foothills High School. Bishop is currently assigned to Fire Station 171 on A shift. Let's hear from Bishop.
Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Up next is our HR department, presented to you by your HR director, Ted Flores.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. This evening, I have the pleasure to introduce our newest human resources team member, Holly Azus, who joins the city of Avondale as our HR specialist. In this role, Holly will support HR operations by processing employee job changes, onboarding new hires, and providing exceptional customer service both to internal and external customers. Holly holds a bachelor's degree in business administration from Wayland Baptist University and brings valuable public sector experience. Prior to joining Avondale, she served the city of Glendale for 5 years as a recruiting assistant for their police department, and then later in their HR department as an HR technician. Holly's knowledge, experience, and dedication to customer service make her a wonderful addition to our organization. We are excited to welcome her to the city of Avondale and look forward to the contribution she will make. Thank you.
Next up is a presentation by Aaron Glass, our Deputy Chief Office of Safety, to make his introduction.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council. It's my pleasure to introduce Jamie Michler. Jamie comes to us from, she's going to be the Office of Public Safety's new Public Education Coordinator. She comes to us from Surprise Fire Department, where she held a very similar position. So that means she's come right in and hit the ground running, which was much needed. Prior to that, Jamie was in the teaching. She's taught all over the country. She's going to be charged with handling fire and medical social media channels. She's also going to be handling the community outreach programs that they have. That includes the very successful Camp Hero, the Citizen Fire Academy, and the Mentor Academy. Jamie's actually, this is a homecoming for her. She's a graduate from Agua Fria High School. And her parents still reside here in Avondale. So we're very excited to have her here.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you, Chief Glass. And again, my apologies. All right, now it's time for our Police Chief Espinoza.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. It is my pleasure to introduce your newest police officers. This group of police officers graduated from the Police Academy on April 9th of this year. The officers are still in training as they will be completing their field training officer program, and they are expected to be fully trained and ready to serve the residents of Avondale in a solo capacity by mid-August. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the officers to come up to the podium, state their names, and in a few words, if they can let us know why they chose Avondale.
Good evening. My name is Efren Rodriguez, and I chose Avondale because I plan to live in the city of Avondale, hopefully in the future.
Hello, I'm Officer Schmidt, and I chose Avondale because I wanted to be a part of an upcoming city.
Hello, I'm Officer Batras, and I chose Avondale because it felt like home.
Good evening. My name is Reina Suma. I chose Avondale because I've had family that has worked here for 17 years, and I don't think somebody would work here for 17 years if they didn't enjoy it. So I wanted to join that community as well.
Hello, my name is Andrew Palacio, and I chose Avondale because I grew up in Avondale as a kid, and I wanted to work where I grew up at.
Good evening. I'm Samantha Simpson, and I chose Avondale because it was the only one that felt like home.
Good evening. I'm Isaias Banks, and I wanted to choose a city that felt like family.
Good evening. I'm Officer Taz, and I chose Avondale because I appreciate the culture that Chief has built within the police department.
If we can give the officers a big round of applause. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, it is also my pleasure to introduce our latest promotions. I'm going to ask this group of employees to come up to the podium. If they can briefly let us know how long they've been with the city and let us know why they chose Avondale. I'll start with Russell Stewart. Russell was recently promoted from training officer to sergeant. Russell.
Good evening, Council, Mayor Pineda. I've been here for 16 and a half years, and I enjoy the opportunity to work every day with a department that aligns with the same values as myself. Thank you.
Next, we have Araceli Garcia. Araceli was recently promoted from a records clerk to a records supervisor. Araceli.
Hi, Mayor and Council. My name's Araceli. I've been with Avondale for the last 4 years, started in 2022. I grew up in Avondale. I went to high school in Avondale, so Avondale's home. Thank you.
Next, we have Bo Wagner. Bo was promoted from K-9 officer to sergeant. Bo.
Thank you. I've been here for 14 years. I chose Avondale. It was just a great culture, great people, and that's all I got.
Next, we have Nick Gonzalez. Nick was recently promoted from detective to sergeant.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. Been with the city for about 10 and a half years now. It's a no-brainer for me to work for Avondale. I grew up in the Tolleson-Avondale area, so this is home to me. So again, it's a no-brainer for work for a hometown police department. Thank you.
And finally, we have Bryce Bellinger, who was promoted from detective to sergeant. Bryce.
Good evening. I've been with the city of Avondale for about 8.5 years. I originally picked Avondale PD because it had a reputation for excellence in the West Valley.
Nice.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council.
Thank you, Chief. Ron, this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. It's holding, I want to ask questions. But okay, we'll keep it moving. We'll keep it
You're the
moving.
mayor. You slow us down.
That's all right.
All right. All right, here we go. Up next, Chris Lopez, your Director of Neighborhood and Family Services, to make his introductions.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. I'm pleased to be here before you tonight to introduce 2 new members to the Neighborhood and Family Services Department. Those individuals work early in the mornings, and so they couldn't be here today, but we do have a video and they'll share a few words about themselves.
Hi, I'm Tyler. I'm the homeless outreach specialist. With that, I help connect individuals experiencing homelessness to various services, whether that's shelter, food resources, or any service that meets their direct needs. About me, I'm from San Diego. I enjoy pickleball, and my favorite thing about working for the city is now being able to serve my community. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Nancy Galoa. I'm an admin assistant at the Avondale Resource Center. I support the Family Services Division with daily operations, including front desk programming and community outreach. I love being part of the city of Avondale because my colleagues and I genuinely care for the work that we do and the impact that we have on our neighbors.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council.
Thank you, Chris.
Up next, you have your Parks and Rec Director, Corey, and make his presentation.
Good
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. I'm excited to share 3 employee announcements with you. 1 new employee and 2 internal promotions. They're each going to come up to the microphone, introduce themselves, share a little fun fact and how long they've been with our city. So starting off with Rachel.
Hello, my name is Rachel Castañeda, and I've been with the city. This Wednesday will be a month. I'm a rec programmer for aquatics, and my interesting fact is when I was 15, I never wanted to be in aquatics, and my mom pushed me and pushed me and pushed me and made me become a lifeguard. And 23 summers later, I'm still here.
Hello, my name is Maria Costello, and I'm the new events rec programmer. I've been with the city of Avondale for 3 years now. And fun fact about me is I used to work in the OR for the jail web, so making lives better is definitely my thing.
Hello, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. My name is Angelina Acero. I'm the new rec coordinator for special events. I've been with the city for about 1 year and 3 months now. And fun fact about me is I just started my MBA last week.
Congrats. Thank you, Mayor. And I know you're dying to know, none of them play pickleball yet. So, thank you.
He said yet.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Up next, we have Kirk Beatty, your Public Works Director, to make, I think, our final presentation for new employees.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. I'm pleased to introduce the new employees for the Public Works Department. I have 1 here in person tonight and 3 on video. First, I'd like to introduce Tina Wilczek. There she is. Tina joined the Public Works Department in April as our Fleet Services Coordinator in the Fleet Division. She is the first person that any city employee will see when they need to get service on one of their city vehicles. And she coordinates between those customers, our vendors, and our internal fleet shop. So her role is similar to a service advisor that you would see at a car dealership. Tina brings years of private sector experience in operations and fleet maintenance management with a strong track record of improving fleet reliability, reducing costs, and leading large-scale maintenance operations across multiple states. Tina's experience and expertise will be an asset to the city for sure. In her spare time, Tina enjoys visiting her summer home in northern Michigan, where she unwinds with her family, and she also enjoys weekends exploring everything in the Southwest. Please join me in welcoming Tina to the team. And I'd like to direct your attention to the video screen for our other employees.
How's it going, guys? My name is Miguel Gallegos. I'm with the City of Avondale, water distribution operator. Fun facts about my job is, get a little messy, but it's okay. I don't mind it. I like that it's hands-on, and I enjoy it.
Okay, I'm Jesse Moreno, and I'm in wastewater collections. And what I love about my coworkers. That's who I love.
My name is Ethan Versteeg. I'm a wastewater collections operator, and my favorite thing about the job so far is the people.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you for joining the Avondale family. I know many of you have been here for many years. Those of you who are new, and I've heard it mentioned many times in regards to Avondale being a family and the culture that's been created here. So thank you so much for choosing Avondale. More importantly, welcome to the Avondale family, and I look forward to meeting many of you throughout my travels here in the city. Congratulations to those of you who were promoted. It's just great to see that type of professional growth happening here within the organization. So thank you so much. Ron, next item, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Up next, we have a proclamation for America's 250th Celebration Month. By the way, great job to Parks and Rec at the 250th celebration this over the weekend. Good job on the fireworks. We have Katie Paulson with the Daughters of the American Revolution here to accept your proclamation, Mr. Mayor.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today. I am honored to serve as the state regent of the Arizona Society Daughters of the American Revolution. The DAR is a nonprofit, non-political women's service organization dedicated to promoting historic preservation, education, and patriotism. Across Arizona, our members volunteer thousands of hours each year supporting veterans, active duty military, students, teachers, and community through history and citizen contests, literacy initiatives, conservation efforts, and the preservation of our state's rich history. We value opportunities to recognize our heritage and honor those who have served our country. Thank you to the City of Avondale for your service to our community, recognizing our treasured veterans, and for allowing us to participate in today's event. We look forward to continuing to preserve our history, support education, and inspire patriotism for generations to come. Particularly, the members of the DR who are also veterans embody a remarkable legacy as they are descendants of the patriots who fought in the American Revolutionary War and have served their country in the military. As descendants of those who fiercely championed liberty and independence, these women continue their ancestors' legacy by protecting and upholding the freedoms won centuries ago. Our state society sponsored the first all-female honor flight of 32 female veterans and dedicated to recognizing and honoring the service of female veterans who are also DR members. This honor flight included visits to pivotal landmarks meaningful to women, such as the Women's Memorial, Arlington National Cemetery, and the DAR buildings in Washington, D.C. on 1776 D Street. The Arizona State Society is proud to represent women from chapters throughout our state who are united by a common purpose, to honor the legacy of our patriot ancestors through service to our communities and our nation. We are grateful for opportunities to partner with others in recognizing and preserving the history that connects us all, especially in the year of America's 250th. Thank you for having us. And if anyone wants more information, please contact us at arizonadar.org. Thank you.
Thank you. And I was originally going to read the proclamation, but I think it's only fitting that our veteran here who sits on council provide that to you. So if Councilmember Garcia wouldn't mind, I'd really appreciate you reading the proclamation.
Yes, thank you. What an honor. And thank you so much for the coin. I absolutely love it. Proclamation, America's 250th celebration and recognition of the Copper State Chapters, Daughters of the American Revolution. Whereas the year 2026 marks the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States of America, commemorating the adoption of the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776. And whereas this historic milestone provides an opportunity for all Americans to reflect upon the courage, sacrifice, and vision of the patriots who established our nation and secured the freedoms we continue to cherish today. And whereas the Copper State Chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, as part of the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution, founded in 1890, is dedicated to promoting historic preservation, education, and patriotism throughout Arizona and across the nation. And whereas the Copper State Chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution, has demonstrated a continued commitment to honoring American heritage through educational outreach, commitment to honoring American, that's the same, hold on, I'm gonna go back. The Daughters of American Revolution, as part of the National Society of America's Revolution, founded in 1890, is dedicated to promoting historic preservation, education, and patriotism through Arizona and across the nations. Whereas the Copper State Chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution, has demonstrated a continued commitment to honoring America's heritage through educational outreach, community service, support of veterans and active duty military personnel, and the preservation of historical traditions and values. And whereas the City of Avondale recognizes the important contributions of the Copper State Chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution, is fostering civic engagement, preserving our nation's history, and inspiring future generations to appreciate and uphold principles of liberty, equality, and democracy. And whereas America's 250th celebration serves as a unifying opportunity for communities across the nation to honor our shared history, celebrate the progress of our democracy, and reaffirm our commitment to the ideals upon which the United States was founded. Now, therefore, on behalf of the Avondale City Council, hereby proclaims the month of July 2026 as America's 250th Celebration Month in honor of the Copper State Chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution, and encourages residents to commemorate this historic milestone through reflection, education, service, and celebration.
And if you guys wouldn't mind sticking around, we'd love to take a photo with you after we're done with the rest of the information here. Okay, thank you. Ron, next item, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Up next, we have a proclamation for Parks and Recreation Month presented by Corey, your Parks, Recreations, and Libraries Director.
Thank you, Ron. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. My name is Corey Lariva. Corey Lariva, my goodness, your Parks, Recreation, and Libraries Director. July is National Parks and Recreation Month, a nationwide celebration recognizing the positive impact of parks and recreation that's been going on since 1985. This year's theme, The Power Of, celebrates the many ways parks and recreation strengthens communities around the nation by creating places to connect, learn, and thrive. Here at the City of Avondale, our Parks and Recreation team is proud to be a nationally accredited agency with a strong commitment to excellence. This past year, we've welcomed more than 1.5 million visitors to our parks, served more than 144,000 library visitors, circulated more than 1 million library resources, maintained over 200 acres of parkland, and welcomed more than 62,000 visits to our aquatic center. And with that, I want to do a quick round of applause. It's an amazing impact on our community. That's some of many notable achievements, to include the reactivation of our Civic Center amphitheater, expanding our public art program with 3 new installations this year, and also bringing back the Western Avenue Christmas light display. At this time, I'd also like to say thank you. What we do is not possible alone, and none of these accomplishments happen without the support of our mayor and council, our Parks Advisory Board, our city leadership, our community partners, and several of the supporting departments like HR, police, fire, engineering, CIP, that all make what we do every day possible. So thank you. Because of your partnerships, we've had many more successes, to include the opening of Civic Center Park, breaking ground on Donatella Neighborhood Park, and completing improvements at both Friendship Park as well as the Old Town site furnishing upgrades. But wait, there's more. Your support has also allowed us to partner with Arizona Game and Fish to restore the Base Meridian Wildlife Area, and this year returning the Tres Rios Nature Festival back home here in Avondale. So thank you for your continued investment in making Avondale's lives better through stronger, healthier, and more connected community. And my favorite part of Parks and Recreation Month is the celebration of the people that are behind all this work. And at this time, I'd like to recognize our Parks, Recreation, and Library Advisory Board members, and we have several of them here in the audience, so please stand or wave. But we'd like to recognize you for your support and advocacy. Come over here. And then, as you can see, we come in an army. So I'd also like to recognize our incredible team in green, who at the height of our season is a team of almost 190 employees now, of part-time or full-time. And every day this team embraces new ideas, solves challenges, gets creative to provide high quality programs and safe spaces for our community to connect. So at this time, if you're a Parks, Recreation, and Libraries Department staff member, please stand to be recognized. With that, Mayor, I invite you to read the proclamation.
Okay, Vice Mayor Curtis, if you wouldn't mind reading that.
I will do so. Whereas Parks and Recreation is an integral part of communities throughout the country, including the city of Avondale, and whereas Parks and Recreation promotes health and wellness, improving the physical and mental health of people who live near parks, and whereas Parks and Recreation encourages physical activities providing space for popular sports, hiking trails, swimming pools, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles. And whereas parks and recreation programming and educational activities such as out of school, time programming, youth sports, and environmental education are critical to childhood development. And whereas parks and recreation increases a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. Whereas parks and recreation is fundamental to the environmental and well-being of our community. And whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Parks and Recreation Month, and whereas the city of Avondale recognizes the benefits derived from the parks and recreation resources, now therefore, on behalf of the Avondale City Council and the city of Avondale, Arizona, hereby proclaim July 2026 Park and Recreation Month. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. And, I mean, you said it best when you referenced how many pieces of the organization have to come and work together to provide the services and offer the programming and, blocking the streets off when, during parades. I mean, it's just, everything is just so intense when it comes to this specific piece of the organization. And so I'm glad that you referenced that in addition to the man-woman power that it takes to do this as well. Everybody here who, as I mentioned during last week's festivities at the Light Up the Sky event, they're there early setting up and they're there late taking things down. We just show up, and I don't just mean council, residents in general. We show up, we have a great time, and we leave. But it's because of them that we're able to, have that joy that we do, whether it's programming, whether it's events, whatever it may be. And so huge congrats to you guys in terms of what you do. Often you probably see a lot more of our residents than many of the other pieces of the organization. And so it's just great to know there's great people working there and they're friendly faces when, in a time of need. So I know that Parks and Rec is also, in the hearts of many of our council members here. So anybody want to share anything before we move on to the next? Okay, Councilmember Solorio.
The team in green. I think you guys have everyone's heart and soul of the community. I cannot say enough about you guys. You guys are there super early, really late, sometimes back to back. And everywhere you go, the community talks so well about how do we afford these things? I know when Councilmember White and I travel and we talk about all the great programming, they're like, how big is your city? Where do you guys get money to do this? Whose thought is behind all of this? So I cannot say enough about you guys. You guys deserve all the recognition in the world. Thank you for, the programming that you put on. Thank you for keeping all the families smiling out there and taking care of them. Wonderful job on Saturday. We heard great things. Secretary of State was out there, said amazing things about the event. And I said, it's all those people in the green. So thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember White.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Stacy, and the entire team. I think Parks and Rec touches me a little bit differently as a parent in the community. I have a very different experience with you. I have my kids use your facilities and take advantage of those things. Somewhere between neighborhood and family services and Parks and Rec, my kids have found employment, they found joy, they found friendship. So I really want to thank you all so much for what you do, really highlighting what's happening at Mountain View this summer with the kids camp. I know that my child is there. I really appreciate Angelo and the team out there. Thank you so much. To the entire staff at the Aquatic Center, I think I will call every lifeguard's name, but Chloe would get offended. So I'll call hers only. But thank you so much. We love all of you so much. The library, Sam Garcia, Civic Center Library, those are places that I feel like I can go crawl under a table when life is just that hard and read a book, and it'll I could go away somewhere else. You guys can make my dreams come true in a small space. So thank you very much. Thank you for taking care of my kids, and thank you for supporting our families and our children and making it easier for us to be here in Avondale. I love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Corey. Ron, oh, go ahead. Oh, sorry. Councilmember Condi, do you have anything to add?
Thank you, Mayor. Nope, I just want Corey and his team to know that they are rock stars And Daniela's looking forward to being a future lifeguard at the Aquatic Center.
There you go. Okay, Ron, next item, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our last presentation tonight is by Cheryl, your new Economic Development Director, to present the Avondale Business Spotlight Program Award.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. I'm Cheryl Cover, your Economic Development Director. This evening, we are pleased to recognize Pride Fitness, also known as Hawk Sport Performance, as the recipient of the city's quarterly Business Spotlight Award. Located at the northwest corner of Corporate Drive and Fairway Drive, Pride Fitness is owned and operated by husband and wife team, Michelle and Donald Hawkins. While they have built a successful strength and conditioning training center, what truly sets them apart is their unwavering commitment to serving the Avondale community. Really quickly, Michelle and Donald, can you guys just go ahead and come up? Because we'd rather see your face than mine anyways. Michelle and Donald have transformed their business into a force for good by using it as a platform to raise funds, collect essential supplies, and bring awareness to causes that make a meaningful difference in the lives of others. Their efforts have supported children and families in need, survivors of domestic violence, cancer patients, and many other members of our community. Through partnerships with organizations such as the American Cancer Society, Adopt a Family, New Life Center, the Arizona Diaper Bank, and others, they organize donation drives throughout the year that provide essential items and financial support to those who need it most. These initiatives not only strengthen our community, but also give residents another meaningful reason to support this local outstanding business. Thanks to the generosity of their members and supporters, Pride Fitness has helped raise approximately $7,000 in addition to collecting countless personal care items and other essential supplies for local charitable organizations. Their impact extends far beyond fitness. Michelle and Donald exemplify what it means to be a community partner by using their business to inspire generosity, strengthen connections, and improve the lives of those around them. On behalf of the City of Avondale, thank you for your leadership, your generosity, and your continued commitment to making our community a better place. Congratulations on being recognized as this quarter's Business Spotlight Award recipient. And with that, Mayor and Vice Mayor and Council, I'll turn it over to you for some comments. We'll certainly get a photo after this.
Yeah, thank you, Cheryl, so much. When did you guys start the business? Yeah, come on up.
We've been in business for about 8 years.
Wow.
The entire time we've been in, excuse me, in Avondale, over off of Section Fairway, and right off the fairway on the Avondale Commerce Center.
And just think about that, 8 years, which means that you were open, or maybe not open, but had to struggle during the COVID.
Yes.
Through COVID.
Yeah, we made it work through COVID.
Right.
Things via Zoom, outside, things like that, and the athletes that we work with, generally the majority of them are youth athletes, some of which are here in the back row.
There they are.
They struggled through the heat with me and with Michelle for that summer. And when we were able to get back inside again, we built it up, and now here we are from 2018 till now. Here we are, just trying to get bigger and bigger as we go along.
And that's my point, is that your business must be very special, considering even through that sort of a challenge that essentially, disrupted businesses and led to their shutdowns during that time. And I know that I don't want to get into your story here, however, just because of time, but the fact that you were able to weather that storm and continue to thrive, and here you are today, just says a lot about your business, says a lot about the members of the business, and more importantly, perfectly describes Pride, right? The Pride. And so thank you for being here today. Thank you, Cheryl, for putting a spotlight on a business that has given so much back to the community. And with that, I wish you nothing but much more success. You're working with a great team here with Avondale Economic Development, but I hope you feel part of the Avondale family, and I would just hope that more of the community will continue to support you athletes and otherwise. So thank you so much.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Any other member of council? Okay, Councilmember Solorio?
Hawk, I have a message from one of the kids that you train. She reached out and sent me a message through mom, basically saying, thank you for everything you've done for me and the community. You're like another father figure to me, and I love going to train. For the year that I have been training with you, I have grown so much. So thank you, from Allison Cook.
Donald looks like a nice guy, but I think I would hate to be out there being trained by him. I believe it. I believe it. Well, thank you so much and
Very much.
appreciate you. Thank you. And we'll take a picture with you here in just a second. Oh, you're right. It is that time. All right. So if you wouldn't mind coming down and taking a picture with us, and somebody will direct each group on when to come up. Here we go. You're going to listen to her.
I almost made it. You guys all saw me work out, right? I just ran.
Okay, item number 3 is unscheduled public appearances. I do not see any blue cards, but are there any blue cards, Julie?
Thank you, Mayor. We have not received any requests to speak.
Okay, perfect. Next item is the consent agenda. Are there any council members who wish to have an item moved for separate consideration?
Mayor, I'd like to remove item K, please. K.
Item K. All right, so.
Hi, Mayor.
Mayor,
Yep.
just a quick note regarding the consent agenda items 4O, 4P, and 4Q. A picture of the new style of the bus shelter is on the screen for your review or just for your information.
Thank you so much, Julie. Okay, so we have item K being pulled.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Councilmember White might have one other thing. Were you good, Councilmember White?
I just wanted to acknowledge that was going to be that we're seeing the picture for O, P, and Q, correct? Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Julie, for showing that. I don't need to pull it. I just wanted to make sure the public got a view of the new bus shelters. Thank you.
Yeah, and if you have not seen those, they're pretty nifty, especially the one here before us again on Van Buren and Fairway. I really like that, almost like a spider web type of a look, but the illumination looks great. So, and there's many on many different intersections, and so appreciate that. All right, so can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda minus item K? Got a motion from Councilmember Solorio. Oh, I just saw a motion from Councilmember Solorio and a second from, I didn't see that. Councilmember White. Okay, can the rest of us please vote?
Councilmember Condi, how do you vote?
Aye.
Perfect. Item passes unanimously, 7-0. Ron, item K, please. Or
That'll work, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. Appreciate it, Mr. Mayor and Council. I believe, oh, it looks like it's gonna be Harold, your Assistant Director of Public Works, to make a presentation on this item.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. I'm here to give a quick presentation of our recycling program with the City of Phoenix. As a reminder, we have been working and partnering with the City of Phoenix for them to process our recycling materials since fiscal year 2018. And this is all the material, the recycling material that we collect curbside from all of our residents. The facility, the materials recovery facility, is located on 27th Avenue and Lower Buckeye. So the distance to that facility is not too far of a distance for our operators. So from an operational standpoint, it's a great location for us to be able to send our materials. And we deliver approximately 5,800 tons of recycling material that our residents produce on a yearly basis. And the proposed intergovernmental agreement is for 5 years. A little bit of history on costs when it comes to recycling. In front of you, we have some yearly averages of what it has cost the city of Avondale to process a recycling material. In fiscal year 2022, to give some more context in regards to this chart, the city of Phoenix has a set per ton tipping fee. So for every ton that we send to the recycling facility, there is a set fee. And then what the city of Phoenix does is takes those materials and then processes them, separates them, glass, plastic, paper, cardboard, and they bundle them and then they sell them in the open market. And when they sell them in the open market, what they do is they provide us with a blended rate back to us. That is revenues that will offset the total cost of those per ton processing fee. So the last column where it says average cost to the city of Avondale, that is the average cost per ton for us to process those materials. In fiscal year 2022, it was a great year. We were actually received revenue from the city of Phoenix in the amount of $8.42. But with the volatility of the markets going up and down, we have seen those costs fluctuate between $30 in fiscal year 23 to as high as $58.38 in fiscal year 24. Now, as a reminder, the city of Phoenix updates those blended rates on a quarterly basis. So they're constantly keeping up with the market and trying to give us the best return back to us here at the city of Avondale. So when I say average, this is the average of those 4-quarter average rates. For fiscal year 27, We only have our first quarter, right? So that is the total cost to the city for this first quarter of fiscal year 27 will be a total $57.50 as a cost to us, to the city. And as a friendly reminder, what can and cannot be recycled in your blue bin: paper, cardboard. You throw it in the bin. We ask that you break them down as best as possible so you can fit as much within the blue bin, but don't pack it too much because it is difficult for our operators to actually empty out those bins. Plastic bottles and containers, aluminum metals, and glass. And then what cannot be recycled: greasy pizza boxes, any glass tables, green waste and styrofoam. Some of these items could be a little bit confusing to residents on what can and cannot be recycled. So we always encourage our residents to visit our website to find what can and cannot be recycled in your blue bin. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you so much. Vice Mayor Nielsen.
I appreciate the presentation. I just wanted to bring up the fact that in the past, we've talked about whether we were going to recycle here in Avondale, whether we weren't. We now have a 5-year commitment, so we and the residents know that that's going to be in here for us. So we keep our blue cans out. Maybe we can do a little bit better job of keeping the greasy ones out and the real ones in there. But I just appreciate this and just want to tell you thank you for your commitment for this and for sustainability and making Avondale the way that it is with those recycled materials. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Any other council member? Councilmember Khan, do you have anything to add?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, with that, can I get a motion? Got a motion from Vice Mayor Nielsen, a second from Councilmember Solorio. Council could please vote.
Aye.
Okay, item K passes unanimously 7-0. Thank you so much. Ron, item 5, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next is our adoption of the 2025 Transportation Master Plan update presented by Kim Moon, your engineering director.
Hi, good evening, Vice Mayor, Mayor and Council. I'm Kim Moon, your city engineer, and I am giving you a briefing tonight on the update of the Transportation Master Plan. Why does this update matter? It provides multimodal transportation strategy through 2050. It updates the current Transportation Master Plan to account for projects completed and for current conditions related to changes we have experienced in population, residential and commercial development, and travel patterns. It also updates projections to include not only the substantial growth we've already experienced, but also on changes expected to continue into the future. Updates to transportation master plans such as this are typically considered every 5 years or so, and future updates may need to be moved up or moved back based on the amount of change that has occurred since the last update. This update gives the city a current database framework for planning transportation improvements. Importantly, it is not just a roadway plan. It addresses streets, transit, bicycles, pedestrians, and transportation technology, all tied to future land use and economic growth. What the update recommends. This slide highlights just a few examples of the roadway improvements, intersection improvements, and also multimodal strategies in this update. Some of these significant roadway improvements are planned for the Van Buren Street corridor, the Lower Buckeye Road corridor, and State Route 30. Key intersection improvement areas include Dysart Road and McDowell Road, Dysart Road and Van Buren Street, and Avondale Boulevard and MC 85. This update also includes multimodal strategies such as the We Ride, bike lanes, and complete street elements. Public input was gathered early on in the process and was incorporated into and helped guide the development of this update. This plan does not rely on pavement lane mile additions alone. It combines these other aspects as well. So Council's adoption of this update will position Avondale to continue managing growth proactively, preserve critical transportation corridors, and compete more effectively for regional, state, and federal funding opportunities. It will also provide direction to staff to use the updated plan in project prioritization, development review, right-of-way acquisition strategy, regional coordination, and grant pursuits. So that concludes my briefing on this update to the Transportation Master Plan. I would be happy to answer any questions and receive any feedback from council at this time.
Thank you so much, Kim. I'm going to start with Councilmember Condi on line first. Councilmember Condi, do you have any questions?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the presentation, Kim. I don't have any questions at this time.
Thank you. Any other members of council have any questions? No. Kim, just wanted to share, that in terms of growth and where Avondale is and where we're headed, this document, this plan, if you will, really allows for us to prepare, at least from a policy perspective, whether it be funding, whether it be the needs, what have you, with just that big picture that we need. I know that we're going to be faced with the SR 30 coming on down south, planning for that. And I know that many of us here probably get a lot of questions related to traffic and congestion and other things. And I know that sounds negative, but it's just kind of the questions that we get. And so it's really just nice that by adopting this plan, that it allows for us to take a lot of the variables that were provided to us into consideration while making those decisions. And so if there's no questions, I can get a motion.
Mr. Mayor.
Oh, sorry.
Councilmember White had a.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see your hand up. Councilmember White?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Kim, for the presentation. I really appreciate it. I wanted to just go back. I think maybe it's a slide talking about the different things that the city will be able to do. Yep, that one slide. Not this one, though. Next one forward. It was actually the second to last slide. The last option there was the grant pursuits. But when we take a look at this plan, I think what I wanted to understand a little bit better from you is how difficult is it to get public-private partnerships to accomplish a lot of the work that we have set out in this plan. Because when we look at our forecast of funding in the city, we are coming close to stabilization and just want to make sure that all the money that's going to go into this won't be from Avondale.
Thank you, Mayor and Councilmember White, for your question. There are different types of methods to fund the type of improvements that are being developed as a part of this policy and the vision for the growth in Avondale, including, to your point, public-private partnerships, or PPP, 3P. It's a few different names for that. I don't know that we have much of that method currently, but right now we do have developers that build their half-street improvements as they develop. We also have we've been successful for at least one or couple grant opportunities to help build and fund some of these, hopefully more to come. And then, of course, there's P3s. And so that's something staff can explore in more detail. We can take your feedback on that issue and look more into opportunities for PPPs. Sometimes I don't see it as often in transportation, but we can take a look at that. Some of the other types of infrastructure lend themselves more readily available to a PP3 funding scenario, but definitely can look at it from a transportation perspective as well.
I think I was looking at the Avondale Boulevard and MC 85 intersection. That's the intersection that we share with Union Pacific. And so I just think that's a great opportunity for us to find an alternative way of crossing maybe that intersection. And so I guess I'll speak that because sometimes we have to put things out into existence for it to be considered. But that was just one of the main ones that kind of rose to the top of the projects that are in there. But very excited to see that the whole Van Buren corridor is being looked at. That's very much so important, as well as a lot of the things we're going to be doing throughout the city. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
There's no other questions, then can I get a motion? Okay, we got we don't have a motion. Oh, it was just for discussion. No, this is an item for action.
Yes.
Okay, so we got a motion from Councilmember White, second from Vice Mayor Nielsen. Do we have any further debate or discussion before we vote? Seeing none, please vote.
Aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Condi? Okay, item passes unanimously 7-0. Thank you, Kim. Ron, next item, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Up next, we have a presentation by Kirk Beatty, your Public Works Director, on the solid waste code violation fees. This is actually a subsection of the presentation under C, where we're recommending the whole schedule of fee changes for fiscal year 2027. Both are just presentations and for discussion tonight. We thought that this was important enough to separate out from all the other fees. So know that these are related, but we wanted to give opportunity for direct feedback. We also wanted to make sure the community was aware of this program.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. So as Mr. Corbin mentioned, the next agenda item will be a presentation from the Finance Department on recommended fee changes. One of these relates to solid waste code violations. And so we were asked to take a moment to explain the new fees in more detail, as they will impact many of the residents who repeatedly find themselves in violation of the city's solid waste code. So this presentation will provide a reminder of the solid waste services provided by the city, the processes and statistics for our bulk trash and recycling inspections, previous and current education enforcement efforts, the violation fee amounts and the process to assess those, and then a final summary. So just as a reminder, Public Works Solid Waste Division provides curbside trash and recycling services once a week and bulk trash services once a month in accordance with specified zones. And to support that effort, we have two solid waste inspectors that perform the daily inspections of the trash and recycling bins and the bulk trash piles. For bulk trash inspections, the inspectors will canvass the bulk trash zones before and after the scheduled weekly service. This past fiscal year, FY26, inspectors have found over 1,800 solid waste code violations related to bulk trash. 104 of those were attributed to repeat offenders. Over half of the code violations have to do with early or late put out. That's when a resident places their pile out too early, meaning more than 24 hours prior to the 5:00 a.m. deadline, or places their pile out after the crews have already gone through and picked up the neighborhood. The rest of the violations are related to hazardous materials like paint, tires, fully intact glass like windows, hazardous chemicals or appliances containing Freon. Additionally, residents put out large amounts of construction debris or large tree stumps, which can damage our equipment. And then lastly, they can put out extremely large piles beyond the 3 cubic yard limit. And then when that happens, inspectors leave a pink tag explaining the violation and the issues that they need to correct. And they paint the pile with a pink X. Yeah, that lets us know that they were there and that the pile was inspected. Solid waste collection staff that are picking up the material are allowed to use their judgment and discretion, and they can sometimes do a partial collection. For example, taking only half of the oversized pile and leaving the rest, or maybe picking up what's trash but leaving behind the tires if there's tires in the pile. But that discretion is based on their ability to easily separate the items. They're not going to stand out there and sort through an entire pile just to find the stuff that they can pick up. For curbside trash and recycling, the inspectors will canvass certain neighborhoods on collection day to check for blocked or overfilled containers or unacceptable items or hazardous materials in the trash bins or the recycle bins. If there is a violation, the inspector will tag the bin. And again, the tag explains the violations and the issues to correct. And it's also an indicator to the equipment operators of an issue with the can, so the equipment operator doesn't service the can. Inspectors can't inspect every can that gets picked up every day. So the equipment operators also identify cans that are in violation, especially the ones that are overfilled or obstructed, and they can report those issues to the solid waste inspectors and back to the Public Works Department customer service team. And then we know that at some point we'll follow up with the resident to help them resolve their issue. This past fiscal year, over 3,800 violations were noted for trash and recycling. 309 of those were repeat offenders. Half of the violations were for overfilled containers. Those are the ones that are hard to dump without spilling the trash on the ground. And they actually represent more volume of trash than what we anticipate in the cost for service and the billing rates, which ultimately impacts utility rates for our residents. Bin placement is another observed violation. Maybe a bin is too close to a vehicle and the truck can't access it. Sometimes they're overweight because they've got construction debris, dirt, concrete, which again, it's a heavy can that impacts the cost for service and ultimately the rates. And then lastly, inspectors will find unacceptable items, especially in the recycle containers. A lot of that time that's green waste, which the city does not recycle. Again, the inspectors will tag the can and provide the solution. But if can't be serviced, the residents again will call Public Works or submit an AVITEMP ticket, and then we'll follow up and identify the reason through our videos and pictures we have as the collection gets done throughout the day. And then we'll work with them to find a solution. So the primary role of our inspectors is to educate the residents and enforce the rules. And again, I mentioned they do all the tagging and they take the opportunity to educate the customers if there's an issue. They make every effort to talk to them directly, but sometimes they're unsuccessful. The resident a lot of times isn't home, or they may not want to talk to the inspector, in which case they still have the tag and they can still contact Public Works and we can direct them to a solution. So one of the things that we direct people to, especially if they have a material like paint or tires, they can use the city's household hazardous waste events to get rid of those things. Those happen twice a year. And then they can also, as Harold mentioned, they can visit the city's website about information on trash and recycling in Avondale, and they can learn about the do's and don'ts. The inspectors will return back to see if the issue is corrected, but beyond the education, there really isn't an enforcement mechanism when no correction is taking place. In the historic past, the Solid Waste Division used to issue citations when the residents violated the solid waste code, and this required staff and the resident to appear in court. But most of the time, the residents resolved the issue before they even appeared in court. But there was a lot of time involved in every one of these citations, so that process many years ago was stopped, moving only to an education-only approach. And there's really been no other enforcement mechanism until this proposal today. Again, we provide education to the residents, but a majority of the residents, they do comply with our request. But again, we have a lot of folks that just don't comply and are repeat offenders. So the solid waste code has a provision for penalty fees, and we're now establishing those fees with this presentation and the one to follow. The proposed fees are based on a step process. The first offense of a code violation will result in the inspector educating the resident and requesting them to comply to the code within 2 calendar days. So still doing that in education first approach. If the resident does not comply within the requested time frame, then on the 3rd calendar day, the second offense is triggered and a $25 fee will be assessed to their utility bill. They have 1 more calendar day to comply after that. And if they don't, then on the 4th day, we'll issue a $75 fee and we will pick up the trash for $100, and that both of those fees will be assessed to the utility bill. So our objective here is to minimize the amount of time that these bulk trash piles sit on the street. We don't want to see the piles out there for weeks on end. We want to make sure the streets are safe. So we'll get rid of the pile regardless of its size and regardless of its contents. A 4th offense will be triggered when we see another bulk pile from the same resident in violation again. And then if we continue to have this problem, the 5th offense is a civil citation to the resident. The fees here are primarily directed at those repeat offenders. Unpaid fines may impact provision for water service to the resident. And I will mention that the violation of solid waste code is a class 1 misdemeanor that is potentially additional fines beyond what I've said, plus jail time. These fees primarily relate to bulk trash, but we could extend these also to the trash and recycling as well. And really the fees, what they do is they help assist the inspectors with the enforcement efforts and help to recoup some of the cost associated with conducting these inspections and enforcement. So our goals through this application, the violation fees are to encourage residents to comply with Chapter 11, the city solid waste code, keeping the city clean of debris and blight, ensuring the health and well-being of our residents by minimizing the length of time trash is present on the streets, and to keep solid waste operations running efficiently. And just to note, this is not the first fee that council has approved regarding solid waste services. We charge a go-back fee of $28 that was introduced in fiscal year 26 for trash and recycling pickup. So a resident who's received a trash violation for their trash bin or the recycling bin, or their bin wasn't picked up because they put it out late, they can call and we will go back and pick up that can, service that can for a $28 fee. In FY26, we had 269 actions where we've gone back and processed that fee and picked up a can. 201 of those were one-time people that we haven't heard back from. We did have one person that has taken advantage of that fee 8 times in the past fiscal year. A lot of times, if they have a lot of trash with overfilled cans or things like that, then we'll encourage them to get an additional can. We have a fee for that too, but they can get a second can for service. And then if they do go back, they have to, the problem has to be remedied before we'll pick up the can. So if it is overfilled, then the resident needs to take out the things that are overfilled, get the can lid closed as per the city code, and then we will do the service. So just in summary, ongoing problem with compliance of the solid waste code. It's been around for a while. We get a lot of calls about material that's been sitting out for periods of times in the neighborhoods. A lot of time it's from the residents who don't like to see it. Our primary concern is with the bulk trash and the repeat offenders. We always take that education first approach. We've proposed this progressive step for fines with the idea to educate first and then fine later. And our goals are to gain compliance with the code, change behavior, maintain the streets in a clean condition, and control our operating costs, which in turn help to control the rates to the residents. So with that, I've got Harold here and Simon Lara, our solid waste manager. Between the three of us, we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kirk. Councilmember Condi, do you have any questions at this time?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the presentation, Kirk. For the folks that leave a lot of items out on the street, you said that if we're able to, we can take some of them and then they'll have to dispose of the rest. Do we provide a list of places they can dispose of, say, for instance, if it's paint or tires, list where they can dispose of them other than waiting for the city's event?
No, we do not. There's not a lot of options, especially for tires. There's only one collection location in the entire county for that, way over in East Mesa. So our recommendation is to hold on to them until the hazardous waste opportunity comes. With paint, you can actually let it dry. And once it's dry, then it's not hazardous anymore. So you can do that, but you'd have to put it out in the sun. Today would be a great day to dry your paint.
What about batteries, like phone batteries? I know Daniela has an old scooter and there's a battery. Where would those be disposed of?
So I'm going to turn that question over to Harold Seguenza because he actually has kind of an exciting almost announcement because we're not ready to announce it yet, but we'll give you a little hint.
Yep.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. In regards to batteries, lithium-ion batteries specifically, yes, it has been an industry issue for several years now as the amount of batteries has increased significantly in all of our products. Here shortly, hopefully within a few weeks, we'll be opening a drop-off center for lithium-ion batteries. And we're also going to be conducting an educational campaign as well that we did in partnership with several other cities as well. Because it's not just us here in Avondale, but it's also the region as a whole, landfills, operators, the environment. It's a collective system. So here in the next few weeks, you'll be seeing some announcements in regards to that. And also additional information on not just only our location where we can drop off batteries, but also other locations such as private businesses where you can't drop off batteries as well.
Oh, that's wonderful news. Um, I did also have a question. If someone is fined, I saw that, was it like a $200 fine? If I recalled seeing on the slide, are they able to make payment arrangements like $25 a month until the fine is paid?
Councilmember Conde, Mayor, Vice Mayor, I don't think we've contemplated the payments, but we do have our finance director here that could probably help us out.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Councilmember Condi. The way that the payments would be applied would be starting with the solid waste and the trash first, and then water. So if the customer was in a situation where they needed to make payment arrangements, that is available by calling into our customer service.
Perfect. Thank you. And I'm thankful that you guys are doing the education piece first. I think that's very important. And so thank you for your hard work. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilmember Condi. Okay, other members of council and questions? Okay, we'll start with Councilmember White and then we'll work our way back this way. Councilmember White?
Thank you so much, Mayor. Thank you so much, Kirk, for the presentation. I was just concerned because I look at this and I know that a lot of our HOAs have fines as well when they see those out there. Are these fines that are going to, because, and we also have renters. So not only do we have HOA fees, but then we have renters who are occupying homes that the homeowners are the ones who might be paying the utility bills. How do we kind of navigate that kind of sticky situation there, because we're kind of layering on, for lack of better terms, and the actual individual that might be, putting the trash out late is the teenage kid who's left at the house before they go to school, not realizing it's always late because, it comes at 5 a.m. And then, the HOA gets involved and then the owner gets involved. How do we what are we doing to mitigate some of this risk here of impacting owners?
Right. Mayor, Councilmember White. So we work closely with the HOAs. A lot of times there's dialogue back and forth with regard to waste on the streets, piles that are put out. A lot of the homeowners, they'll contact us and say, you didn't pick it up and now I'm going to be in trouble with the HOA. So we do a lot of communication with them. We'll make sure that they're aware that we're implementing these fees. Bulk trash is the biggest problem. And you mentioned like renters. We do have people that rent a home and then they decide to leave and they put all their stuff out in the street, and it doesn't matter what zone it's in or what day of the month, they just do it. And but that's not real common. It happens once in a while. We do attempt to work with the homeowner in that case. It may be a circumstance where we have to make some special accommodation if we know that there was a renter in there. And a lot of times we can tell just based on the pile that's been put out what kind of person or group might have been living in the home. With regard to your somebody putting out the trash can after the truck is left. We can see that too, because we have the videos. We know if the cam was out there or not. And we've had a couple of occasions where somebody said, hey, my kid put this out late, or I missed it, or whatever. And we try to accommodate as much as we can. But again, most of the people is like, yeah, okay, I missed it. I was over full. Please pay the $28 or I'll pay the $28. Please come back. The other thing we tell them too is you can go buy a trash can at Lowe's or Home Depot for $30 and own it for yourself. And that's where you put your overflow when you have your birthday parties and things like that. And that way you're not paying $28 every time you overfilled your can. So we try to work with them, give them some ideas, and again, educate first and understand that sometimes it impacts people financially.
And then finally, are we taking a look at the vendor that we had for our trash cans? I know that a lot of the tops were breaking, and even in my neighborhood, we still have some of the blue bins with black tops and black tops with blue. It's weird. And it doesn't end up working out right. And I guess somebody wanted to bring it to my attention because they felt that their recycling wasn't picked up because it had a black top. And our folks are early. They come right on time at 5 o'clock in the morning, which I appreciate. I'm sure they can see the color of the bin. Does that have an impact if we have a mismatched bin? Does it get picked up if it's out there with the right materials but the wrong top?
I'm going to turn that back over to Harold.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Councilmember White. If there are any mismatching tops, I would suggest for the resident to submit an otherwise ticket for us to change that color top so there isn't any confusion. If it's just a top that is a different color, but the bin is the color that it needs to be, our operators won't pick it up. And for the most part, our operators, they know the neighborhoods, they understand this, they understand the bins, what they're collecting. So I don't foresee that being an issue, but if there are any bins out there with a mismatched colored lid, we'll be more than happy to replace that with the right colored lid.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask Kirk to complete Councilmember White's question with the efforts we're making to address some of our can issues that have come up?
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Mayor, Councilmember White. So we are well aware of the challenges we have with trash can damage here in the city. And I've tasked Harold and Simon to come up with, first off, to find out exactly what the problem is, because we were contemplating, is it cans? Is it the trucks? Is it age? What exactly is the problem? And through the review that we've done, and we've compared ourselves to other cities in the valley to see what their kind of problem is with broken trash cans. And unfortunately, we kind of lead the pack in that issue. But what we found in the studies, two things that are really, really key. First off is the trucks that we operate, we are basically the only city in the valley that operates the brand of trucks that we have. And if you happen to have seen one of our trucks in operation, they are very, very rough on the cans. They slam them up, they slam them down, lids fly off. We are in the process through attrition of replacing those trucks. We've got 3 new ones that have come on service just within the last about year and a half. We have 3 more due to be replaced in this fiscal year. So that would help us. So we were just meeting with one of our drivers this morning, and he was explaining how much he loves one of the new trucks because it's so much more gentle and it's not throwing the can down. So that's a big part of our issue. The other thing we found is that historically, and I think it dated back to like 2010, we've purchased cans in bulk. So there was a big push around 2010 and we bought a lot of cans and then things drove down. And then in 2020, we started to buy another bulk, or not by 2020, maybe a little earlier than that. But we're finding out that a lot of the cans that are breaking are 10 to 20 years old. And the reason you can tell is because it has the river logo on the side as opposed to the Avi. And those are the ones that have been around a while. So they're already at the end of their service life. And we're just, I think because there's so many of them, they're just coming due. We've investigated all of the different trash can manufacturers. The municipalities in the valley, they all use different ones. Some of them use multiple like we do because it's cost. We've been using some of the more expensive cans to see if there's a big difference, but we look at our neighbors and they're using some of the cheaper cans and they're just having a great time with those. So again, I think the majority of it is really our trucks at this point.
Thank you so much. And do we have any community partnerships involved in the education? I know that I was at the last Cafecitos that we had in I think it was last month, and we got a lot of great information. I know we have awesome community partners sitting in the back with us here, Cash and Cares. They really led the way as it related to doing community cleanups. And I know that sometimes when we have our community that steps up and they want to help out all the time, they feel like they're kind of left behind when we don't keep them included in spreading the message and keeping them involved. What are we doing to continue to include those types of community organizations that really get the message out there and our boots on the ground to keep our community clean and do a lot of the work that we really want to get done?
So Mayor, Councilmember White, so you mentioned HOAs. We try to work closely with them, not just on trash issues, but water issues as well. And we do go to the Cafecitos on occasion to meet with those groups. And I think we will do that now as we begin to implement these fees, so we can make sure everybody's aware of that. We do participate in some of the cleanup efforts as well. Usually that's tied kind of with household hazardous waste, so it's a great way to capitalize on that activity for the neighborhood and for the city at large, and kind of get a bigger bang for our buck when we do that. So we definitely want to continue to do public outreach because it is first off about education all the time.
Councilmember Weiss.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Kirk. I did have a question. So on the fees that you have here, these are for the bulk pickup penalty fees. Are these the same for recycle if somebody has they're overfilling their recycle bin or they're putting in the wrong items?
So Mayor, Councilmember Weiss, they could be, we could apply these same fees. I don't think we would charge somebody $100 to pick up their trash can because you already have a fee of $28.
Right.
But if we found somebody that's continually having an issue, we would need to address it somehow. But right now we have the solution. They can pay $28, we'll go pick it up. It used to be we would just go back and do it. And we stopped picking up just by request a few years ago because it costs a lot of money to turn a truck around to go pick up a trash can out of sequence. So it's there in case we need it, but I don't think I would be using it for that. I think we'd be using it more for the bulk trash.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Solorio.
Thank you, gentlemen, for the presentation. Thank you first and foremost for the education component of it. I think that's really important. I think that's what kind of sets us apart from other cities. I know in talking to other councils, they'll share some of the things and I'm like, you guys are brutal, man. We give people the opportunity and we share with them, you know, ways to kind of mitigate, you know, let's not do this or let's not do that. So I really want to thank you for that because that sticks out more so. And if you look in our adjoining communities, I'm sure you know which ones I'm talking about. They're not as, you know, apt to educating folks in what the process is. And yes, there should be fees for people that, you know, are repeat offenders because that's tough. I've seen the garbage folks out, you know, and trying to gather stuff. And sometimes that bulk load's a little too big or they might get poked. I saw one guy get poked by like a branch on the side and, you know, stuff like that. It should just be looked at. And I like the fact that we have different fee levels and we're willing to work with them. So there should be no excuses for anyone doing that. I also like the fact that, you know, that would be added to the utility bill. And the different, you know, starting from like the lowest fee to whatever it might be. Hopefully they're not getting to that other fee and such. I know that we often talk about, you know, our trash cans and we've talked about them in the audit committee and, you know, really everybody has a problem with their trash can one way or another. I know other cities have had issues with the wheels on the trash can. We have some with the lids, but, you know, a lot of that stuff is, you know, it's the wear and tear of those things. So thank you for what you guys have done and what you're putting forward.
Thank you. Councilmember Garcia.
I like it, but because we want clean communities. And I do like the educational portion of it. Some people don't know what they could put out there. Like if you go in my neighborhood, mentally, I thought we could put everything on the street because everyone does and it gets picked up. And my neighbors have not like really complained about it because I talked to everyone, but that makes sense that, you know, we have something and it is dangerous sometimes for the kids when they're playing outside and there's bulk trash out there for like a whole week and they're riding their bikes or rollerblading and stuff. So this just keeps the community accountable. I just have a random question since we're on the topic of trash. Are we still disposing of sharps at the library? Like the needles, because you talked about the batteries, which is awesome. I have PTSD from throwing away batteries. So I have boxes of batteries from Afghanistan. Like I don't throw batteries away. So that's exciting. But I was just wondering about like the sharps. Where do those go?
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Councilmember Garcia, yes.
Okay.
We still have sharps at our libraries. Corey, anywhere else?
There we go. Correct. There is currently sharp disposal at all city facilities, including the libraries, the Mountain View Community Center, and I believe the Aquatic Center as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Ted, I think has something.
And hold on to those batteries and we'll take them from you in just a few weeks.
Thanks.
Mr. Mayor, your HR director has something to add, looks like also.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, that is something that we actually support in human resources through our safety department. So we coordinate with vendors to remove the sharps, make sure that it's available, something we do regularly.
Vice Mayor Nielsen.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I had one note on here. How are you going to get the violations out? I believe you said that it just goes into the utility bills. So there would be a line item on there for something that says first offense or whatever it might be. Yeah. So that way they can see and know what's going on with it. The other one I've got is bulk trash. I know we're in Area D, but we get people who put stuff out the first week or second week. I appreciate you going through and looking at that. Do the inspectors go through our area the first week, or I don't know, you've got two inspectors, or they just kind of hit and miss? Is there any type of methodical way of just driving around our area D when it's supposed to be the fourth week instead of the first week?
Yeah, so I'm going to turn that over either to Harold or Simon if you want to talk about how the inspectors inspect the areas.
Council Vice Mayor Nelson, so we have a north and south inspector. So when we're in zone 1, the south inspector is inspecting zone 3 and 4 for late putouts or early putouts. So the inspector on the north side does zone A, which we're in this week, and then he'll go down south and inspect zone B. So they're always inspecting zones. So once we go through zone A and then we go to zone B, the inspector will go through zone A to check any late putouts, and vice versa. So the south inspector is always inspecting zone C and D. So we're always inspecting the zones for either late or early putouts. And with these fees, it's going to help a lot with these repeat offenders, and especially during the holidays like Christmas, especially Halloween. People, there's a lot of kids out trick or treating. This is really going to help out with the blight, with the early or late putouts with these fees.
I appreciate that very much. So, and if there is a bulk trash in B and they see it in A up there, is it a $28 charge to go back and pick up the bulk trash, or do you just do that?
So there is no, Mayor, Vice Mayor, there is no fee right now for bulk trash. So there would be once these fees are implemented. And again, if it's the first offense, we would go back and tell the resident, we tag your pile, you need to remove this from the street until your next scheduled bulk trash week. We'll be back in a month and pick it up. And then if they don't do that, after 2 days, we'll go back and issue the $25 fee and give them that second opportunity to take care of it. And then if they haven't done it then we go to the third fee of $75, and then we will pick it up.
Okay.
And again, I have to, just the majority of the people comply. We just have some folks that are just really, really repetitive on this. And we have a lot of great residents in our neighborhoods that call us and tell us that their neighbors are messing up. We know a lot of those folks by name. We talk to them, visit their homes regularly. But we appreciate that because that helps us to keep track of what's going on and know where to concentrate our efforts.
You mentioned, I think, a pink tag or something. You put a pink X and then a pink tag. Does that tag go with the bulk? Does it go on the door? Does it go on, where does it go?
So Mayor, Vice Mayor, we actually put the tag on the pile. And the reason we do that, there's a couple of reasons. One, if we put it on their door, maybe they drive in and out of their garage and they never see the tag. So if we put it on the pile, it's really obvious. And then secondly, this is, I guess, kind of the thing I kind of felt is it's a big, ugly pink tag and it lets all the other neighbors know that you messed up. And then it helps us as we're all working around, driving around the city, we see some piles, whether it's a pink tag or the pink X, we know that it's been addressed so that we aren't doubling our efforts to inspect something that's already been inspected.
And I guess just one last one, back to cans or whatever. If one of the drivers see there's a can, the other day in our neighborhood, there was a trash can on a Thursday and it was split all the way. It was open, the garbage was not coming out. Would that driver look and make a note and say, we need to replace this? If there's some proactive method of saying, okay, this one's shot, record it and go replace it?
So Mayor, Vice Mayor, yes, the drivers are instructed to identify broken cans, and they do the best that they can. A lot of times they're out there in the dark, so you may not always see that it's cracked or maybe the lid's cracked. But they do try to capture those. They get those called back in, then we proactively schedule a replacement. We'll get a hold of the resident, and usually we replace the can on their next service day, presuming that we'd already made the service. The The solid waste drivers are supposed to be picking up about 150 cans an hour. So in a 10-hour day, they pick up over 1,000 cans. So, you know, we have to, unfortunately, they kind of have to keep moving, and sometimes they can't stop and check every violation, but that's why we have the inspectors as well. So, and then we hope that people will call in. If anybody needs their can repaired, all they need to do is contact us. It's free of charge. We'll go out, repair it or replace it, whatever's necessary.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you and all your staff and everything they're doing.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. A lot has already been said. I'll just limit my comments, but I do have one question. I believe what you've heard is support for this. And I think in addition to that, we appreciate the education portion as opposed to just, compliance or else. So the education goes a long way. As you mentioned, most people, when they do this, whether they put it out too early or maybe it's greater than the 3 cubic yards or whatever it might be, when they see the pink tag and the X, I'm assuming most look and say, oh my gosh, what did I do here? And would even blame themselves to a certain degree. It's the repeat offenders that's, I think we're really focused on here, are those who, as you mentioned, by name, by address, et cetera, et cetera. And so at some point you got to get their attention. So I believe, that this is right up the alley as to what we need. So the question is, and I don't want to get into the minutia, but it's something that I've witnessed and I've seen in my neighborhood is, a homeowner has a water heater or a refrigerator or some big appliance. Maybe it's not a big appliance, maybe it's just a desk. And they assume that if I put it on the curb, somebody's going to drive by and pick it up and use it for scrap, right? So they're going to do me a favor, I do them a favor. And in addition, maybe they have a desk of some sort that they don't want. And so they put a little tag on that says free. Hopefully somebody will take it, but they don't, and it remains. Would then would that qualify for the educational piece? And hopefully get their attention to where they bring it in and say, okay, well then we'll wait for bulk or what have you. Or because a driver or an inspector sees the free sign or what have you, do they give him the option to leave it out for a day or two longer? How would that work?
So Mayor, Council, if it's an item that somebody wants to provide for free to anybody that would take it, our recommendation is to put it in their driveway. We will not pick up anything off of private property. If it's sitting in the street or on the sidewalk, then it's obstructing a public right of way. We would identify it as bulk trash. We would tag it. We would give that notice to the resident. You need to move this out of the street. And if they did that, then the problem is solved. And
They have to do it.
we've had that occasion. We've had to do with that a few times.
I mean, they may have to deal with their HOA or something of that effect, but as far as the city's concerned, private property, we don't touch, no harm, no foul. But if it's on the street, that's where this could be implemented. Okay, all right. All right, well, if there's no other questions, thank you so much for the presentation and the information. And we really appreciate it, Kirk. Thank you, NT, Merrill, Simon, thank you. Okay, Ron, next item, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next, a presentation and discussion on recommended fee changes for fiscal year 2027 by Renee Weatherless, your Finance and Budget Director.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. The purpose of tonight's item is to present the summary of our fiscal 2027 proposed fees. This item is for discussion only. No action will be taken tonight. So last fiscal year, if you recall, we conducted a fee study and updated our fees in development services, engineering, and fire and medical, which make up about 60% of all of our city's fees. This year, staff has recommended minimal changes to fees across 6 departments, including the city clerk's office, engineering, finance and budget, parks, recreation and libraries, police, and public works. The process to change fees requires a public notice be posted online at least 60 days prior to council action. So we posted that notice on May 4th, along with the methodology supporting the new or increased fees. In addition to the required public notice, we posted on social media on June 25th, and we're here tonight seeking council's feedback. So the first of the departments is under the police. Staff are proposing to remove 2 fingerprinting fees from our current fee schedule as the services have not been provided since March of 2020. In the city clerk's office, they wish to create a domestic partnership registration program to provide a needed service to the community. However, that program will be coming back to council for future consideration, but due to the timeline and the process of creating new fees, we've included that fee in this year's schedule. And under finance and budget, the city applies a $25 non-sufficient fund fee for payments that get returned. So the idea is that we're just changing the name on this fee because it includes other payment types aside from check, which include ACH, EFTs, and credit cards. In engineering services, staff are proposing a revision to certain fee names and units of measure to provide clear descriptions of the services being charged, to reduce customer confusion, and to improve transparency. The name changes will be more accurately reflect the services that the customer receives, and the proposed changes do not alter the underlying fee purpose. Staff is also proposing 12 new fees. So the city currently performs inspections and plan reviews within some subcategories, including concrete structures, drainage, grading, sanitary, sewer, utilities, and water that do not currently have individual established fees. So these fees require staff time, technical expertise, and administrative processing. But in some cases, no specific fee has been adopted to recover the associated cost. So the proposal is to establish these fees to ensure consistency, transparency, and equitable cost recovery. So as development activity continues, these inspections require comparable effort to other already adopted fee-based services. In addition, for plan reviews that do not warrant the standard per sheet fee structure, we are proposing a new hourly plan review rate that would be applied. Under parks, recreation, and libraries, parks facility rentals have increased steadily over the past 5 years, while maintenance and operation have risen faster. Facility rentals have been identified as a heavily subsidized service, and market compression in the West Valley has increased demand from outside user groups. The proposed fee ranges maintain affordability for residents, allow phased adjustments over the next 3 years, and provide flexibility if market conditions exist. Demand is expected to remain strong as requests exceed available inventory. For fee reductions, based on the first few months of operating the special event permit program, the proposed fees appear to better align with market conditions and customer expectations. So staff are proposing to reduce the major event permit fee by half in order to address customer feedback, to better accommodate event organizers, and to support community events. And lastly, establishing the range and updating unit of measure. Over the past 5 years, the cost of burial services at the Goodyear Farm Cemetery has increased, while revenue per burial has not kept pace with rising personnel and equipment costs. So to better reflect those costs, staff is proposing an increase to the fee range for cremation and traditional burial fees. This will provide flexibility for future adjustments. The unit of measure update will provide clarity, and it will move from a per person or per hour to a per burial basis. And then lastly, under the Public Works Solid Waste Division, this is just what you heard Kirk discuss, that it will be a progressive fee based on the subsequent offenses. So in summary, staff's recommendation is to add 18 new fees, make recommendations to names and units of measure and fee ranges, to reduce 2 and to remove 2 fees from our current schedule. Over the next steps in the process, we will be returning back to council on July 13th for council action on these proposed changes. And with council approval, the fees would then take effect on September 1st. So this does conclude my presentation, and I will take any questions.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it, Renee. Are there, and this is for discussion only. Councilmember Condy, do you have any questions?
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have any questions at this time.
Okay, thank you so much. Councilmember White?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Renee. Do we know how many plots are left available at the Goodyear Farm Cemetery?
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Councilmember White. There are actually still quite a few plots remaining. There's less eligible candidates that would still qualify for that potential burial. But transitioning from coffin burial to a cremation style burial has allowed us, it creates the opportunity for more capacity. So the burial is smaller now.
Does it, is that something we determine for the departed, or is that something the family selects for the departed?
That is selected during their application process, whether they're going to do a coffin burial or cremation burial, if I'm understanding the question correctly.
Yes.
Yes. And the fees are different based on those burial types as well.
Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Weiss, any questions? Okay. Councilmember Solorio? No questions? Okay. All right, I appreciate it. Again, I don't really have any questions, just comments in regards to thank you all for, looking at really the balance of what has occurred here in terms of the changes. I know that there was many, the ranges allowed for what would assume to be more of a reduction in some of the costs associated with those things. And then one thing that I had mentioned to Ron, Corey, that I don't know, and I don't think you can track this at all, but just something that I know that happened a lot when I was coaching sports and utilizing the ball fields was outside organizations coming in, paying a fee for our lights, and then passing on a separate light fee to their parents. So for example, if they paid $25 an hour for the light, $50 for the 2 hours, they would go to each parent and collect $10. So they were actually making money to pay for the light fee and then recouping. It was a revenue generator essentially. And I don't think we can track that or anything, but I'm just really glad. The goal here of this comment is just to express the fact that I'm glad to see more Avondale residents getting usage of the ball fields, and I would hope that we would continue to make it a priority to allow them to get these fields first. I know it doesn't always work out that way, but that's one of the major reasons as to why. I know that not every organization does that, but a lot of them do. So just a comment I wanted to make.
Thank you, Mayor. And our current field allocation and rental policy does prioritize residents and local organizations first, in lieu of what you're trying to achieve there. So yes.
Yeah, appreciate it. Okay, thank you so much, Ray. Appreciate it. All right, let's move on to item 6, summary of current events. Any members of council wish to share any summary of any current event? Councilmember Connie, do you have anything to add or to share?
Thank you, Mayor. I not at summary events, but I do want to congratulate Councilmember White for being elected to serve as the chair of Valley Metro Board. And I also wanted to congratulate Councilmember Weiss for being selected for the MAG Transportation Committee. Congratulations, ladies. Great job.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Councilmember Solorio?
2 weeks ago, I was in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, representing Avondale women in municipal government. And I just wanted to say thank you, Ron, for always making me one of the most prepared council members with the information that I need. And if I don't have it right on the spot, you answer me very quickly and you get me what I need. So it looks like everyone's stellar and we're just great because I can provide these answers just right on the cuff, as well as to Nicole, because sometimes it's a legal question. So thank you, Nicole.
Okay, thank you. Any other council members? Okay, Councilmember White?
I had the opportunity last Sunday to go to the Thrive church that's they have services in La Jolla, which I thought was really neat because I didn't realize there are quite a few schools that offer services in Avondale. Imagine Avondale has one. I think it's Kingswell. And then I had the opportunity to stop into the Patriotic Services yesterday at Skyway Church and saw Vice Mayor Nielsen there as well. And then we all got to show up at the Light Up the Sky celebration for the 4th of July, which was super amazing. I had a really great time. And I just wanted to thank Parks and Rec again. Thank you.
I mean, I echo those same sentiments. I mean, it was a great, event. More importantly, I loved making the comment over and over again regarding the fact that we're using real fireworks and not drones, which I know that Stacy was sharing with me that she heard from a Goodyear resident. I shared with you, Corey, and with you, Ron, but not others, that I was waiting to go on stage with the rest of the council, and just randomly I was asked to take a picture of a gal and her family, and I said, sure, I'll do it. And then I asked her where she was from, and she said she was from Los Angeles. Unfortunately, she is in Arizona because of a large fire that has taken place out there. So she found herself in Scottsdale of all places, and that's where she is currently residing in a hotel in Scottsdale, but had heard that Avondale had live fireworks, so commuted from Scottsdale all the way here to Avondale just to partake in our event. So you never know where people are coming from, and more importantly, what these people are facing. And just to kind of have an event where they could celebrate together meant more to them than I think any of us would know. So thank you again. And also last week I got to attend a goodbye lunch for General David Berkland from Luke Air Force Base, who is taking station in San Antonio, Texas. And so he'll be leaving us. We get our new commander here at some point over the next couple of weeks. But if you know General Berkland, I'm sure that he'll be missed by you. He was a great leader. More importantly, he was very involved in the community, and we really appreciate him and all that Luke has to offer. So with that, if I can get a motion to adjourn. Got a motion with Councilmember Garcia, second by Vice Mayor Nielsen. Please vote.
Aye.
Thank you, Councilmember Condi. Item passes unanimously. Everybody drives home safely and enjoy the rest of the week.
Thank you. Goodbye.